Hello there, gang, and welcome to Good News Extra, where we talk about all the extra news that we want to talk about that don't include action figures. So it's movies, games, videos, pro wrestling, comic books, and all points in between. So, without further ado, we're going to go on over to Screen Rant, who are talking about Hulk lore changing forever as Marvel confirms new power is permanent. So this is a little bit of comic book news now, even though they're kind of leading with a picture of the Mark Ruffalo MCU Hulk, but they're talking about the Titan version of the Incredible Hulk. The Hulk's new Titan form has caused untold misery, but unfortunately for the Jade Giant, his own personal Hulk isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So the whole idea of the Titan Hulk is that it is to the Hulk what the Hulk is to Bruce Banner. So, when Bruce's dark side is the Hulk, and the Hulk has a dark side of his own, and that is the Titan Hulk, which is the closest we've got just on this particular page is this little image here of this raw, hellish type monster. Looks like a sort of Balrog, Lord of the Rings type creature. Visually, honestly, it's not that visually exciting, I don't think. It's just a big scary monster. It's a big scary monster version of a big scary monster. So I feel like the Titan Hulk is kind of like putting a hat on a hat. You know, we've already got a Hulk, but now we've got a slightly stronger Hulk. So it says, in terms of raw power, there are few Marvel Comics characters who can even come close to rivaling the Hulk's new Titan form, which has gone dormant but is not going anywhere. As one of the most dangerous beings in existence, there's very little chance that anyone could argue against Bruce Banner's angry alter ego being a force of nature among Marvel's pantheon of heroes, as Hulk's new power only cements the super strong status of an even more dramatic degree. Over the course of the Starship Hulk storyline, which has been a lot of fun. I've been reading that on Marvel Unlimited, and Starship Hulk, it's a weird, quirky, unusual way of approaching the character of the Hulk, and I've got a lot of time for it, actually. Fans have been treated to all sorts of incredible feats from the titular gamma-fueled behemoth. One of those feats includes the debut of an even deadlier Hulk form named Titan. Essentially, the Hulk's very own Hulk with its own dark agenda. And with the events of Hulk 14, it's clear that this dangerous new Titan form is here to stay. So basically, you got these little panels here that show like the destruction of the Titan form of the Hulk, but also you can see that there's a little lingering, little glimmer that it still exists, and we are going to be seeing that again at some point. Honestly, yeah, it's just Malibu Stacy with a new hat, but you know, it's nice that they're still trying to expand on the Hulk lore after all these years. So I've got time for that. Also, it would seem that people do have time for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, no spoilers. For people in the live chat, we're just talking about the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has dethroned Mario at the US box office with a $114 million opening weekend. That's a lot of cash. However, it is not as much as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And that's interesting because if you enjoy the film or you didn't, again, no spoilers or anything, I don't want to talk about that, it is lower, which shows that perhaps Phase 4 of the MCU has made a bit of apathy amongst the fan base, because a lot of people are saying, oh, this is the best Marvel movie since No Way Home. And that is true, in my opinion. But that's a real low bar, because Marvel have been rolling a 3 and a 2 and a 4, but they haven't had any real big hits, I don't feel, since No Way Home. So you know, it's done well at the box office, but it's not done as well as other Marvel movies of the same ilk. So that's interesting to see. I personally, though, thoroughly enjoyed it. Another message we've got now is Across the Spider-Verse creators say the film features 240 unique characters, which is a nothing story that they're putting out there, because who cares? They're going to be crowd shots. We've seen the trailer of Spider-Verse, of the place where they all are, with thousands of spider characters. So it's a fun little claim to say 240 unique characters, but that's like saying that Ghostbusters features 10,000 unique characters because you see the streets of New York lined with people at the end. It's like, yeah, but do they actually do anything relevant to the plot? Probably not, but still, I'm just enjoying any Spider-Verse hype because I think that movie's gonna rock my world. Not that I'm setting expectations too high, but the fact that we've got Scarlet Spider there, that's good enough for me. And also Scarlet Spider being voiced by, oh gosh, it's Andy Samberg. There you go. Oof, you could see the cogs turning there. Andy Samberg voicing Scarlet Spider, which doesn't make the most sense since he's a clone of Peter, but then again a clone from a different reality, so we can have a different voice. Over in more movie-centric news, Daredevil Born Again suspends production as workers join the writer's strike picket lines. Yes, unfortunately, Born Again is going to be, well, it's going to be born a little bit later because we do have the writer's strike going on now, which has halted a whole bunch of productions. And yeah, that's bad news, not just for Daredevil, but also Blade, which was finally just about to start filming next month. That's been delayed because of the writer's strike as well, which also makes me think, wait, you were a month away from filming, and you're still writing? You're still writing? How have you not got a finished script after all this time? This is what baffles me. These are like some of the biggest multimedia corporation companies in the world where people are being paid millions of dollars. And it's like, you haven't even got a finished script? What? It just makes no sense. I just don't get it. It is baffling. It's like the Star Wars sequel trilogy not having a trilogy outline, just whiffing it as they go. Like it baffles me. Absolutely baffles comprehension. Apparently, luckily, Deadpool 3 is not being delayed though because they actually had a finished script before they started filming. What a unique concept that is. Going over to Spider-Man with the Marvel games, we've got Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is getting a prequel comic. This is kind of interesting, just because I love anything that is Marvel's Sony Spider-Man, because I cannot wait for that game to come out. I'm going to be taking some time off work, and y'all might not see me for a little while. But yeah, this will be a fun read, most likely, hopefully. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, work on Marvel's Blade has been paused due to the writer's strike. That's what we knew. That's what I just spent the last couple of minutes ranting about, because it deserves ranting about. On slightly more encouraging news, the One Piece show for Netflix. We have a quote saying, One Piece creator says Netflix series won't launch until I'm satisfied. Sure, pal. Sure. Nonetheless, though, One Piece creator Ichiro Oda has issued a letter to fans that summarizes his journey towards the creation of Netflix's live-action adaptation of his beloved story. In the letter, he said, considering my expected lifespan, I believe this is the last chance to bring One Piece to the entire world. If we're going to do it, I want to be able to supervise things while I'm still active. That's why I agreed to the live-action adaptation of One Piece back in 2016. Okay, that's wonderful, wonderful sentiment. Unless he has a Hulk Hogan-style creative control clause in his contract, though, he's not going to be able to stop it from coming out. You know, it's not like Netflix are going to spend untold millions on this TV series and then be like, can we release this? Does it meet with your expectations? No? You want us to scrap it and do it again? Okay. No, obviously not. So it's a nice sentiment, but unless there's literally written into the contract that he has veto power over the show, that don't mean nothing. And also, speaking of creators and their projects, Hogwarts Legacy of the controversial Harry Potter saga has earned over $1 billion. Hogwarts Legacy has now sold 15 million copies and made over $1 billion. That's just mind-boggling. That number is expected to notably increase as the game becomes available on previous generation consoles. People loving that Harry Potter. They love being wizards and flying around and doing magic and fighting Voldemorts and all that stuff. I've got to admit, I think probably the game is most likely fun. The idea, the concept of going into this magical world is probably pretty awesome. It's not something that I want to play too much. I've got too much on my agenda already. I've barely touched my PlayStation, and that's just heartbreaking. And now Jedi Survivor is out, got Zelda coming out in a couple of days. Boy, it's a stressful life. But yeah, a lot of people are having a great time with Harry Potter, it would seem. Over at Comic Book Resources, DC's next major villain debuts in free Comic Book Day release. So DC are getting a new big-time bad, and it would seem that they got a kind of a Freddy Krueger Dream Master sort of vibe going on about them. In this little preview it says, Insomnia! DC's next major villain makes their official debut in free Comic Book Day, Dawn of DC Night Terrors 1. And in this story, it seems like from the preview, we had Robin, which in this case is Damian Wayne. Damian Wayne finds himself in an Inception-style dream within a dream within a dream type scenario and situation. And when he comes out of it, he was like, oh, it was all a dream. But was it? Clearly not, because we have this terrifying, apparently new villain called Insomnia. I'm going to keep a little eye on this and just see what comes of it, because it's always nice to see it when companies bring in like a new creation rather than reusing Joker or whoever it is that's been used a million times. It's like, nah, give us something new. Even if it's a riff on a classic trope of like the Dream Demon or whatever. This could be some fun to be had. Loki Season 2, pushed back to fall of 2023. This is not a huge sort of revelatory type story. It was always rumored to be sort of the middle of this year, maybe more sort of September time, but that was never confirmed. And now it seems that rumors are saying it's more kind of October time. So nonetheless, we're still scheduled to have our Loki Season 2 fix at some point before the end of the year. So that's fine. Over on the promotional side of things for Transformers, the Autobots and Maximals meet in a tense Rise of the Beast scene. I've watched this scene, and you know what? It didn't fill me with confidence, actually. You see, I enjoyed Bumblebee. I liked where they were going with this. I would play it now, but I'll probably get a copyright strike. I liked where they were going with the characters and making them more likable and relatable and just bring it back down to earth a little bit more and not so awful, basically. But this scene where the Maximals meet the Autobots, it feels very Michael Bay-ish. It feels very quippy. Everyone's jumping in and like, hey, I'm going to fight you, not if I fight you first. And then Optimus, he still has like God bless Peter Cullen for always trying to bring his beauty and gravitas to the role, but even he, it feels a bit more like the psycho Michael Bay Optimus who wants to murder people. He jumps in, he's like, everybody stand down while I point my gigantic hand cannon at you. And it's like, can everyone just chill? Can we stop acting like jerks? Alright? Still, hopefully I'm getting worried, basically, because I really enjoyed Bumblebee, and I thought that they might be on a right track, but if it's going back towards Bayisms, then that scares me. Hopefully, I'm just being paranoid. Now, DC reveals why Hal Jordan quit the Green Lantern Corps. It really annoys me when Comic Book Resources do these titles, because it implies if you click on this link, they will then go on to tell you what the answer to that question is, and they do not. All it is just a link to, the preview for the upcoming Green Lantern story, which in itself will reveal why Hal Jordan quit the Green Lantern Corps. So it's kind of like clickbaity in a way, because you want to click the article and go, why is that? Why did he quit? And they're like, below is a preview for this comic book where they will tell you. And it's like, guys, I didn't want to read the comic. I just wanted to find out the thing. But hey, look, I'm not going to be mad about a site that's, encouraging you to go out and spend money on reading comic books, because quite frankly, I think more people should do that. I'm doing that a little bit more myself recently. I've been spending a lot of money on what is it? My Amazon Kindle comic book reading, and I've been having a good time with it. So nothing wrong with doing that. But yeah, why did Hal Jordan quit the Green Lantern Corps? Spinning out of the events of Dark Crisis, the Guardians of Oa and the heart of the Green Lantern Corps have quarantined sector. Oh god, it's a lot of space age stuff. You know what? Read the freaking comic, okay? Wolverine 33, speaking of comic book previews, Wolverine 33 preview, Weapons of the Weapons of X. This is delving more into the feud, the fight between Wolverine and Beast. Beast, who has gone full-on villainous bad guy. He is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, mad scientist, cloning himself, doing all sorts of genetic experiments and mutations. He is more Mr. Sinister than Mr. Sinister, which is another one of those things where I'm like, why have Marvel turned all of the X-Men characters into heels? Like, even the good guys are bad guys, which makes them a little bit unlikable. You know, I know that it is arguing that, like, oh, but there's, you know, it shows that no one's black and white. There's nuance and character depth and all that kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but also, you know, these are characters that, like, we sort of grew up with and fell in love with and we like to follow, and you're just writing them to be kind of unlikable. And rather than trusting you to play out the arc in a satisfying and conclusive way, I'm more inclined to be like, I'm gonna jump off this ride. But if you're still sticking with the X books, let me know if you think that they're still worth reading, because I hear a lot of mixed things. That's all I'm saying. I hear a lot of mixed things. What hopefully won't be getting mixed reviews, though, is the Spider-Verse movie, which just revealed 4 new posters, which, you know, it's nothing too groundbreaking or earth-shattering, but again, they look pretty. I would love to see it on IMAX. I don't know if it's in 3D. If it is in 3D, I wouldn't see it because I can't see 3D. But I would like to see something like this, the spectacle of Spider-Verse on the big screen. You got Scarlet Spider there in the background. Gotta love it. Looks just like the Hot Toy Scarlet Spider there, actually. It looks suspiciously like the Hot Toy Scarlet Spider. Did someone use a reference? I think someone used a reference there. But yeah, that's going to be super fun. Cannot wait. That's going to be a good time. And if you want to have your Spider-Verse and eat it too, then you want it your way at BK, you got it. With their Spider-Verse Red Whopper. Burger King is going to be holding a special promotion with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with a new Spider-Man themed Whopper. The fast food chain's no stranger to crossovers with their food. They once did a black bun for Halloween as well as an orange bun for a spicy version. So yeah, basically they just add some food coloring, essentially. So you can get yourself a Red Whopper. Over here in Japan, you can quite often get the fully black Whopper, which is coloured with squid ink and tastes a lot nicer than you would expect it to. But that's something for the more discerning hardcore fans out there. Speaking of hardcore fans, if you're a hardcore TMNT fan, there's what looks like a mobile game, I think, called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. I didn't even know that was out, but it is. It's a thing, apparently. And IDW Publishing are doing a tie-in comic, and oh, hello advertisement. There you go. The artwork looks pretty. I've been getting more into the TMNT comics recently because, what was it? The Last Ronin sort of got my attention, and then that encouraged me to go back and read like the opening IDW issues, and you know what? They're good. They're telling a fun TMNT story. It's got a lot of stuff, a lot of fan service for the old school TMNT fans, but also like new concepts, new dynamics, some brave, bold directions that they're taking some of the characters, and this looks like a fun spin-off as well. Pretty artwork. I like that so many people and artists are incorporating like the wraps, the foot and the hand wraps into the Turtles designs, because that just breaks up the green a little bit, makes them more visually interesting. Yeah, it's a good time to be a Turtles fan. Then, whatever happened to Mary Jane Watson and her children? Yes, at the moment in Spider-Man, we're going through this whole arc where they're trying once again to break up and finally decisively get rid of Mary Jane as Spider-Man's love interest. Which it's so funny because they're like, oh, Spider-Man's unrelatable to people if he's in a loving relationship with someone. Really? Comic book writers? I can't help but feel like, were you not hugged enough as kids? Is it really that hard to relate to a character who has a strong partner who supports them and loves them? It would appear so. They're like, no! Spider-Man must never be happy and never be able to have a functional relationship. Like, I think Marvel writers, Marvel editors, that says more about you than it does about us or Spider-Man. That's what I'm saying. So basically, the gist of the story is that Mary Jane got trapped in an alternate dimension where time runs differently. Isn't that always convenient? So, a few days in the 616 were months in where she was. So ultimately, she hooked up with this guy and had kids, and now they're back in the 616, and she is still with this guy with kids. And I think that's Marvel's way of going, look, see, they can't be together. She's a mum now. Like, it's just get over it, you losers. Stop trying to make Spider-Man happy. All right. I'm also not reading the comics anymore, so just know that. And it's not just because of Mary Jane, it's just because the stories have been awful recently. Now, speaking of interesting stories or controversial stories, the return of the Muslim Batman, Night Runner, to DC Comics might rustle a few people's feathers. So we have this character when they started the Batman Incorporated storyline, which was basically Batman almost franchising the idea of Batman all around the world. Every different country needs a Batman or a Batman-like protector. And there was a Muslim character who got a lot of stick. So I'm going to quote here directly from Bleeding Cool News. Batman Incorporated number 8 out tomorrow sees the Joker bring Night Runner back into the DC continuity for the first time in a long, long time. So, in a precursor to what may be more familiar social media culture wars, 12 years ago DC Comics published the series Batman Incorporated, which included different Batman-inspired superheroes around the world, including a Muslim Batman-type figure, Night Runner. He first appeared in Detective Comics Annual 12 by David Hine and Augustine Padilla, a then 25-year-old French citizen of Algerian origin who lives in Clichy-sous-Bois, in the eastern suburbs of Paris. Wow, they're giving me a lot of words to pronounce here. He was recruited by Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson for Batman Incorporated as the Batman of Paris, which was a little too, and this is how it's written, a little too woke for certain conservative bloggers who didn't read comics. That's it. You gotta criticize things before you read them. Okay, so this was some of the reaction. This was some of the reaction that it got at the time. Warner Todd Hudson wrote, "Unfortunately, readers of Batman will not be helped to understand what troubles are really besetting France. In this age when Muslim youths are terrorizing the entire country, heck, in this age of international Muslim terrorism assaulting the whole world, Batman's readers will be confused by what is really going on in the world. Through it all makes DC a Muslim in France and blah, blah, blah." Oh, okay, I'm not going to read all of that, angry rhetoric, because this channel isn't about angry rhetoric. So it got a lot of bad press from people who don't like that idea. Watch Model Behaviour sit on the fence on this one. I personally don't think Batman is built to take on butchers like Al-Qaeda, since DC Comics thinks having Batman kill would kill the character. But I sure as hell don't think Batman should be used to sell the big lie that... that's still... I'm reading more of the angry rhetoric. There was a lot of angry rhetoric. So basically, they're bringing this character back. So I think, is it courting controversy? That's the question. Is DC looking just to ruffle feathers and make some headlines? Possibly. But, sometimes when things are done just for the sake of controversy, that feels grubby. That feels a little bit grubby. The write-up for the issue says, "What's Batman without the Joker? Why does Batman get to have Batman all over the world when Joker only has Gotham? Well, the end of Batman's global monopoly is approaching. The Joker is here to disrupt his enterprise with the launch of Joker Incorporated. Australia, China, England, Australia twice? Yes, Australia twice apparently. Argentina, France, they all get a Joker. Everyone gets a Joker." So that's the notion for this. And you know what? Having said all that and gone through all that rhetoric and rambling, I bet it'll be like a one-panel shot of this dude in Paris fighting a Parisian Joker. But hey, there you go. That's enough to court a little controversy, I suppose. Going over to movies, and a less controversial topic. Mortal Kombat 2. The first Mortal Kombat was disappointing. It had some really good elements in it, but ultimately it didn't quite hit the landing. However, Mortal Kombat 2 has a secret weapon, and that secret weapon is Karl Urban. Because who doesn't love Karl Urban? The dude always delivers, whether it's Judge Dredd or The Boys. You gotta love Karl Urban. Asking you, what's Sporty Spice done? Eh? Spice Girls, they don't mean nothing unless they're together. Hey, that was my Karl Urban. Anyway, he's in final talks to play Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2, which doesn't really resonate with my thoughts as to what I would expect for Johnny Cage, unless it's the older Johnny Cage, but we haven't been introduced to him in the movies at all yet. So I would have thought more of a younger type actor would have been like way more appropriate for Johnny Cage. But honestly, it's not like, I have a huge reverence for the character. If they want to change up the style of the character, that's fine. Honestly, just get rid of that Cole insert character. What a waste of time that dude was. It's like, oh no, the audience needs someone they can relate to and see the story through. No, we don't. We just need any one of the thousands of incredible Mortal Kombat characters that have already been made to view it through. Could you imagine if they made the Avengers in the MCU and they had Johnny Bogson, who's just like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, what's all these Avengers people? Can someone explain it to me, please, so everyone in the audience can understand? No, obviously not. Or imagine if they did that in the X-Men, where they finally make an X-Men movie, and it's like Wolverine, Cyclops, but no, we're gonna follow John Bobinson. It's like, oh hello, I'm a new mutant. Who are you fellas? What's going on? What's the dynamic of this world that we find ourselves in? Oh, God, I hate audience insert characters. It's just the worst. The studios think that people are really freaking stupid. Okay, and the final bit of news. Look at that face that only a mother could love. Meg 2 has its trailer out now, and I highly advise you to go watch it just for a little chuckle. And after that, don't bother seeing the film, because I think that's pretty much everything that you need to see. I watched the first Meg, and it was absolutely a film that I saw. That was it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great either. It was too serious to be a comedy, and it wasn't scary enough to be a horror. It was just there. I tell you, it felt like content. It felt like movie content. There was stuff happening. Big CGI. There you go. 90 minutes, 2 hours. Off you go. If you got time to kill, if you literally have nothing else going on, watch the Meg. But like, if there's anything else, you're probably going to be all right. This looks like it's leaning heavily into, let's just go cuckoo bananas ridiculous. It's way more tongue-in-cheek, which might actually make it like a better film. If they do go harder into the nonsense, that would be kind of fun. I mean, this opening trailer, it involves T-Rexes, 3 megalodons, tentacle monsters, people putting on mech suits like G.I. Joe, a whole bunch of nonsense. It might be fun, but I'm not going to go out of my way to see it. But it looks like a movie that will definitely have happened. And sometimes that's all you need. All right, that does it for all the basic extra news, but we're not done yet, because we're going to go over to Cosplay Corner with the new star of model behavior. Those of you who watched my Comic-Con live stream might be familiar with Eri-chan, who I bumped into there, and we got chatting, we got talking, and she gave me all the links to her socials, and now it would seem that people have a new Japanese waifu for model behavior. So this photo here was actually taken at Comic-Con, where I met her in her Sailor Moon? I met her in a Sailor Moon cosplay. And yeah, we got chatting, and she's just a delight. So I thought, you know what? You absolutely need to get the Cosplay Corner segment for today. I'm going to be very careful, though, because I can't show you too many pictures from her Instagram, because she is not bashful. She's not very shy and retiring. So yeah, go and check out Eri. Give her support. She deserves it. I mean, she's an absolute sweetheart. Genuinely, a really nice, warm, sweet person. So yeah, hopefully we'll catch up at the Tokyo Comic Con in a few months' time, and yeah, that'll be great. That'll be another segment for model behavior and our, I guess, new official favorite mascot. But we're not done with Cosplay Corner yet, because we're going to go to something completely different as well, because Screen Rant, this is quite an old one, but it's a good one, had a feature on this incredible Juggernaut cosplay, and so I thought I would share this with you as well, because just look at this. You can have your CGI Juggernaut all you want, but for me, I'm a practical effects kind of guy, and this this is how we do it. This is how we do a Juggernaut cosplay. This dude living his best life in an incredible... God, can you imagine how hot that must be? But this is really amazing that he's actually able to move around the way that he does as well as he can do in that. That's really something. So this was, this is a, I'm not sure if this is a repost. Oh no, this is the actual Facebook page for this dude here. 114,000 followers. He's doing all right, but you can see how he puts different costumes together there. This dude's got the skills to pay the bills. Yeah, and he's got a rhino one as well. Check this out. A Hulkbuster R2-D2. Love it. Very, very cool. So go give him a follow as well, because that looks super awesome. And folks, that does it for Good News Extra for today. Thank you so much for watching. We've still got a live chat going on here at the moment, so I'm going to go back and talk to the live chat. But for those of you watching on the replay, thank you so much for watching. Join the Patreon if you want to support the channel. Join the Facebook groups, the Instagrams, all that stuff. All that good stuff. Support the channel any way you can do. Just lean out your window and tell everyone to display model behavior. That's good enough for me. So gang, thank you so much for watching. Gosh, I'm exhausted. Like, share, and subscribe. All that jazz. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Big time coffee.